And don't forget, you can watch us. So we are on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. And if you want the chance to watch some movies that were filmed here in Mississippi, maybe before the rest of the world can, then we've got some exciting viewing events for you. Joining us is Ryan Parker. He's with the Mississippi Film Society, and they are always up to some good things. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, Rebecca, thanks for having me. How are you?
I am doing well on this beautiful Friday. It doesn't get much nicer than this, at least in central Mississippi. I feel like maybe all of Mississippi is having a sunshiny day, so it's definitely a good day.
Yeah, I have been taking advantage of the weather and staining a deck all morning, so we couldn't ask for better weather for that kind of work.
Which normally you don't want to go see a movie in good weather. However, it is the right weather to go have like dinner on the patio somewhere, or if they have an outside setting, and then go into a later movie. That would be like perfect date night. But regardless of such, you guys got some great opportunities for us to get out and view some movies. But first, I want to go back to what Mississippi Film Society is, and you guys' mission kind of on a daily basis as an organization.
Yeah, I mean, we started last year, and it's a nonprofit that is working to bring unique film screening experiences to Mississippi. We're doing a lot here in Jackson, but always looking to expand into other parts of the state to create some educational programming around films and visual literacy, and potentially one day a prison screening program, and then hopefully all of this culminating with a film festival back here in Jackson.
Sounds like lots of good plans. What is and this may sound silly, but I've learned, Ryan, over the years, there's no silly questions, because usually if I don't know, there's at least one other person listening. The rest of them laugh at me, but that's fine. How do you define what a film screening is? I know you watch a film, I'm not, that far behind, but how is it special from just going to see a movie? What is a film screening?
Well, that's going to see a film, like you said, there's some great films that come out this weekend that everybody can go see, but there's, the type of work that I'm trying to do, and this, my day-to-day job and the bill-paying job, as I tell people, I work in marketing and publicity in film, and what most mainstream film releases have are word-of-mouth early screenings that maybe take place a week or two before it's in the theaters that everybody can see, and usually these happen in the top 40 markets in the country. And since moving back here from LA, I've been able to kind of parlay some of the connections that I have through work to bring some of those to Jackson. And so it's really just an opportunity for folks who are interested in the film, up for going, just being out at the theater to see a film before it releases. And the studios do this in part to help generate word of mouth. So when it's available in its widest release, hopefully the people who have seen it early are telling their friends and family, hey, you should go check out this film.
So you get kind of like a sneak peek, so it's a little bit special, so you should take advantage of it when it comes your way, especially if it's a movie that you feel like you may be interested in, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And there's other, we did a test screening last year, and that's slightly different. The film wasn't locked. It was the director and his team were still trying to finish the film and work out the final edits. And so we were able to host a special screening of that. And I'm really interested in doing more of those, because those are certainly unique experiences that even movie lovers don't often get to have. So to be able to watch a film and get feedback to the director, this worked, this didn't work, it would be neat to see this, or, things of that nature. So yeah, those kind of test screenings really, really early in the process, and then preview screenings, like you said, sneak peeks to generate word of mouth. Those are things that I hope that we can bring more of to the communities here.
Don't ever put me, Ryan, in an early test screening. I don't know how to hurt people's feelings. I would be like, oh, it was okay. I enjoyed it. Because that to me, I know it's people's blood, sweat, and tears, and there's so much that goes into a film. I also recognize that, positive feedback is what they're looking for, and it's definitely part of it. But it really takes It really takes a lot of, confidence, but also compassion to sort of get that in the right way. But I'm all about sneak peeks and then being able to go and sort of enjoy something, especially if it's a limited edition. And you guys have already started this. You've got a few viewings, I think, one or two coming up in this area. What comes first, Ryan?
Yeah, and we're kind of getting rolling. We did a special community screening of a documentary back in January, but then have not taken off a couple months. I attended a few festivals to try to find some films to bring back, and one of the films that we're going to have, it is Tuesday night at the Renaissance Cinema Grill, the Malco, over in Ridgeland, and it's a film called The Long Game, which is based on a true story. So for any of you listeners who are avid golfers or golf fans, this is a movie for them, and it's based on a true story about a group of Hispanic teenagers in Texas in the 1950s who built their own golf course, were working on golf courses, but weren't playing on any sort of organized team, certainly not in a high school setting. And a accomplished golfer comes along and says, you guys got some talent. Let's put together a team and see what happens. I don't want to say much more than that, but you could probably imagine, right? It's an inspirational story, uplifting, PG rated, so good for the family. And again, that'll be Tuesday night at 7 p.m. at the Malco Renaissance.
So how does this work, Ryan? Like, if you're listening to Good Things and you're interested in coming, obviously there's only so many seats in, one theater, and it feels like if there's only one or two showings, this can go fast. How do you get tickets in advance? Is it like first come, first serve?
Yeah, great question, and I'm glad you asked. That's, we still have some seats for that one, so if folks are listening in. The quickest thing to do and the easiest thing to do if folks are interested, they can email me directly, which is just Ryan at msfilmsociety.org. So it's pretty straightforward. And if they're interested, they can email me. I'll get them on the list. And then in doing so, if they're interested, I can also add them to our subscriber list whenever we have events. There's an email invitation that goes out and folks can sign up. The goal is to always keep these free. We'll have screenings that are PG. We'll have stuff that's PG-13 or, so we really try to let people know about any kind of sensitivity to content or things like that. But in this case, this is a film that should be good for the entire family. So, yeah, they could just email me at Ryan at msfilmsociety.org.
And then this one will also be out nationwide coming up in April, too. So this really is kind of like a sneak peek. You just get first dibs at seeing it, and it sounds like also seeing it for free. So that's also nice.
Free. Yeah.
But I bet the popcorn's not. That's where they get you. They always get you somewhere, Ryan.
They're making their money somehow. And then we have, you had mentioned a couple. I mean, we have also, I'm always open and excited about partnering with great folks in the community and across the state. And we're partnering with the Flowood Chamber of Commerce for another screening. And it's rare that we've done two kind of back-to-back in this way, but we're going to be screening another film on Monday night, April 15th, at the recently reopened theater out on Lakeland. What used to be the Parkway is now Legacy Theaters. And we're going to be screening a film called Adam the First, which was shot entirely here in Mississippi. So if folks are interested in supporting Mississippi-made films, this is a good opportunity to do that. And the same thing, if folks are interested in checking that out, they can email me and I can follow up with more info.
Where was it shot, Ryan?
All over. A lot of it just outside Jackson, but it really all over the state. And that part of, I got to screen it at the Oxford Film Festival a couple of weeks ago, and part of the joy was trying to see if I recognized any of the locations. And then also seeing, wow, there's a lot of beauty in this state, a lot of natural beauty, which forms the backdrop of a lot of the film. And the film stars David Duchovny, which, of course, a lot of people will know from X-Files. Oak Spegley, who some people may know, really avid moviegoers would probably recognize from some recent films. But I would say like a really small indie kind of film about a teenager searching for his father, and quite lovely. So hopefully folks can check that out. And that will also that will run for a week at the Legacy Theater there. So there'll be a free screening on Monday night, the 15th, and then starting the 16th, it'll screen for a week and folks can go, and that'll just be the rest of those screenings will kind of be regular ticketed purchases.
Will that end up being like a nationwide release or for more people across the state to be able to see?
There's going to be a release. They're going to do a limited theatrical release, likely not in Mississippi, but in May. And I can share dates with you, and folks can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook for information like this.
Ryan, can you stick with us?
Also release.
Can you stick with us through the break, Ryan?
Yeah, of course I can.
All right. So, well, y'all stick with us, too. We got more with Ryan Parker, Mississippi Film Society, coming up next here on Good Things. We're also streaming from that SuperTalk Mississippi app. We hope you have downloaded that. You can always find us on that local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. And don't forget, you can watch us. We are on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. And getting to watch films early and for free is what the Mississippi Film Society is trying to do across the state. But starting here centrally, we're continuing our conversation with Ryan Parker. You said that this is still like a new organization, Ryan, only maybe 1 or 2 years old. How long has society been here in Mississippi?
Oh, not even a year. I think this summer it will be a year. So,
and you've already had one. You mentioned a showing, and you've got 2 more lined up. I would say y'all are rolling.
Well, we did a dozen last year, so I've got a lot of catching up to do.
Oh, okay. So it just wasn't under the formal name of the Film Society. But
yeah, we partnered with some folks, and we did some screenings that were, we're just kind of growing our, I guess you'd say subscribers, growing our audience, right, and building community. So, yeah, this is just excited to be doing this work.
It's interesting when you talk about build community, Ryan. Like, oftentimes we think of, like, food builds community, music builds community. But I hadn't really thought about, like, how film brings you together, too. But if you really think about it, it does. I mean, not everybody likes the same movies, but there are a lot of different people who do like the same movie, like, that will come together, like, from all walks of life will really find a particular movie, impactful or inspiring or just entertaining. Do you find that when you have these screenings that people from all walks of life are coming together to, partake in one thing?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I think art in general, but, just my focus happens to be on film has a transformative experience. I think we can all remember where we were when we saw film X, Y, or Z, whatever. We all have stories tied into films, and I think there are also great opportunities, whether you're watching a narrative film or a documentary, that you kind of stare. I had a friend who worked in this space, and she said, you stare at something for an hour and a half, and you're watching something, but you're not watching it the same way, or you may not be seeing the same thing, and then you get to have the opportunity, if the space is created for you, to kind of turn and look at each other and have a conversation. What do we see, right? How did we interpret what we saw, or what did we think about that? And so it can make for some really great conversations, and like you said, building community.
Which I think is super cool, and sort of the work that you guys are trying to do. You're building the community through the film screenings, but also you're going to add in the lecture piece, the workshop piece, the festival piece. You just came back from the Oxford Film Festival. How did that go?
Well, they do a great job. Matt Weimer and his team up there are just fantastic folks. We had a great weekend, really good audiences. I think it was maybe 120 total films across, different genres, right, like feature length or shorts, documentaries, narratives. A lot of Mississippi-made content, some great short films from University of Mississippi students in the film program there. So they do a really good job, and in fact, we're hoping later this year, maybe sometime in the summer, to bring some of the winners from that festival here to Jackson, maybe kind of call it the Best of Oxford Film Festival, and do a short, program one evening.
Well, you'll know where to bring them. Just go ahead and throwing that out there. Putting little good things on the list, Ryan, for that. I think that would be a lot of fun to sort of talk to about. We hear about a lot of the film industry coming to Mississippi. You mentioned our beautiful landscapes. We've also heard from, we have such hospitable people and welcoming, and I know the tax credits and all that help. But what about the talent behind the camera here in Mississippi? Do you feel like Mississippi's starting to grow more producers, directors that are putting out this content, not just that the outside producers or filmmakers are coming in? That's great. But what about breeding our own creativity here?
Well, that's the key ingredient, and growing and sustaining a film industry, and you could also expand that into arts, all aspects of the arts, but in film, and specifically having folks here on the ground who either can do the work. So sure, some producers may come from out of state, but they may be looking to hire local. The more that we have, the better. That means more people come with their projects, but also folks here in the state who are wanting to make their films. And I think the Film Office is doing a great job of workforce development and growing that. And then it seems like all of our state universities and colleges either have or are in conversation about building some sort of film program. So having students not only go to school here, but stay here and do the work rather than feeling like they need to move to L.A. or Atlanta or New Orleans, for example.
Which you did. You left Mississippi for L.A. We forgive you, right? Because you came back.
No, well, I left for North Carolina, then it was Northern California, then it was Los Angeles, so we've been around a bit.
And then so you chose Mississippi, so we doubly forgive you for that. We welcome you here. So how, Ryan, did you find your way, I guess, though, from the West Coast back to the South, and particularly here in Mississippi?
Well, we grew up here. My wife and I grew up here, so I grew up in Brookhaven, and my wife, Amy, grew up in Clinton, and it was, people do this, happens a lot. And, we were actively looking at maybe settling down in L.A. and just made some choices about wanting to be closer to family, to nieces and nephews and parents and things like that. So it wasn't a completely out of the blue move. And then also knowing that, there's a great arts community here. It's a great place to be, and potential, right, for some of the stuff that we're doing. It'd be much harder to get a film society off the ground in a place like Los Angeles where there's so many of those, or film festival, for example. So there's a lot of opportunity to engage community, to engage the arts and film specifically here. So that was also exciting.
Well, it's exciting, too, to hear that you can get sort of the nooks and crannies of the same. You don't have to go to our people don't have to leave if they can learn that they can stay here if they choose to have the family, more balanced life. They don't necessarily have to go to those places like Hollywood that people tell them that they have to leave and go to chase a dream. Your dream can be, done here, which I think gives you the best of both worlds if you're looking for a more balanced, I guess, way of living. I would assume it's a little more faster pace, or maybe just different in LA. Is that fair to say, than living here in Mississippi?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be everywhere. That's one of the things we've learned is living around. I mean, it's everywhere is different, and everywhere has, we made friends who become family in California and picked up, godchildren along the way. And so it really is, people make it, right? People make the place. And so it was great for us for a time. But, yeah, I mean, it's definitely a bit slower. I mean, certainly if you're looking to rent an apartment, it's certainly more affordable anywhere outside of L.A., I would imagine. But, yeah, I mean, and the more that, like we were saying earlier, the more our schools are contributing to these programs, the more students are graduating with these programs, the more work that there's here. Yeah, that reality of not having to leave to chase a dream, it just becomes stronger and stronger.
It's kind of like what Delta State and the hardworking folks in Cleveland are doing sort of for music. They're trying to get where kids don't have to leave, or people who aspire. You don't have to go to Nashville. You don't have to go to all these places. You can get all of that done right here, in the Delta and Mississippi if you choose to, right? There's nothing wrong with leaving and chasing your dream too, but also making those opportunities sort of here. And I love that. So you're coming back to the Mississippi Film Society, Ryan, you're really working hard to build that community. And so what I'm learning from you is if folks are interested in that, and being on your list to get the first dibs for these screenings, then they can just go to y'all's website and sign up for it to be on your newsletter. Or how do we get on your newsletter to keep building your community there?
Yeah, the easiest way to do that is just to email me at ryan@msfilmsociety.org. Can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at MS Film Society, which I was surprised that name existed, that somebody hadn't claimed that already.
It was meant to be, Ryan.
What's that?
I said it was meant to be for you. If you can find it on in terms of a URL or whatever, it was held for you for from somewhere higher.
Yeah. So there was so those are probably the three quickest ways to go about it. And also just speaking of reaching audiences and building communities, I know that there are people who are always interested in film experiences like this or events. I'm happy to partner with folks. If there are people who are interested in, we want a screening in Vicksburg, I don't know, just pick a city, right, or a community, feel free to reach out and we can talk about that, and I'm happy to help in that way as well.
Because if you get on the list, you get first dibs. It's coming. And just because it comes out doesn't mean you have to go watch it or it would be a good fit. You're just trying to build that email list of letting folks know when these things are available. So, Ryan, your email one more time for folks who are on the text line asking for it.
Ryan at msfilmsociety.org.
All righty, Ryan.
And yeah, it's pretty straightforward. And like you said, that's a great thing. Invitations go out. It really is. If you can make it and the film interests you, not like you said, not every film is everybody's cup of tea. So we try to provide a wide range of content for folks, and we know that not everybody's going to want to see everything or can see everything. So we just want to make sure that folks are aware of events and can take advantage of it if they want to.
All right, Ryan, I appreciate your time here on Good Things. Everybody else still with us. We got more movie talk. It's Friday. We got Tanya coming up next.